Good morning, I've just got off the train at Shildon. 200 years ago, on September the 27th, 1825, the world's first ever public passenger steam railway opened. It's 200 years later, and we're here to celebrate. Have I timed this correctly? There goes the carriage. And then a few more carriages, and then any second now, come on, slightly mistimed it. This is the train that we've come to see.
So it's the year of Railway 200, and after a brilliant Greatest Gathering event back in the summer, railway lovers once again gathered for this landmark celebration, with a recently restored Locomotion taking centre stage as it retraced the historic line from Shildon down through Darlington and onto Stockton-on-Tees. The route mapped out the 1825 path of the world's first public steam-hauled passenger and goods railway service and invited spectators to engage with each station, historic structures and legacy sites along the way. And I got to catch up with some familiar faces who were also around for the weekend, had a chat with someone who was here for the Railway 150 celebrations, as well as getting up close and having a detailed look at Locomotion itself. And the highlight for me is when it travelled over the famous Skerne Bridge in Darlington. So at the National Railway Museum in Shildon on the Friday, there's a great atmosphere building.
It's a little bit like a mini Greatest Gathering. So at Greatest Gathering, Derby weekend, back at the beginning of August, like 10,000 people. And now, all the familiar faces are starting to pop up. There's a lot of railway people, so it's a little bit like Jen's holding my camera. And you missed, sadly, coming to Greatest Gathering. Jen was telling me this morning on the train, she was sad she missed it. But now, do you feel like you're amongst? It's lovely, yeah, it's lovely.
It's good to be back.
Little flags, and the train's about to run. It's all just, it's exciting. I'm getting a sense of excitement. It's cool. It's cool.
Can we please have 3 cheers for Locomotion #1 and the Stockton and Darlington Railway Festival and all of you here today. 3 cheers please. Hip hip. Hip hip. Now, there's been to rush down towards...
Oh, I've gone into vlog mode rather than documentary mode, which is what Jen's doing right there. She's making her video. The action has moved to outside the main front of Locomotion Museum. So this is a good vibe of like everybody that likes trains is just here. And it's currently, it's 11:40, so I think the train is heading off in about 10 minutes, and then it's going to go down. It's going to reverse back onto the main line, and then head down towards North Road, Darlington. I might try and catch up with the train there.
And as I watched the live stream, I was thrilled to catch up with Mike Lamport, Railway 200 steering group member, who was also here 50 years ago.
But the reason why I wanted to find you all this time, because we had a little chat on the train up to Derby.
We did.
I was all excited about Greatest Gathering at 200, but you were like, Geoff, you're like, I was there for Railway 150.
I was actually here for Railway 150.
You were here?
I was here in Shildon. Railway 150, we didn't just have one steam engine, we had 35 steam engines. And the prototype high-speed train at the back.
Goodness.
And we ran a cavalcade from this spot through to Hyington and on to Darlington.
Right.
And when it was all over and several 100,000 people had made their way home, I turned to a railway colleague of mine and said, if I'm still here in 50 years' time, I hope that my grandchildren push me here in a bath chair. Well, I'm here with my son.
And he works for the railway?
And he works for the railway,
okay.
Doing the same job as his great-grandfather did in the 1860s.
But
we go all the way around.
Do you have like an old ticket or a brochure or programme from the 1975 event?
In 1975 event.
Do you have it at home?
I have it at home, safely at home. But I've got a flag for today. So
I've lost my flag. Hang on, can I help wave your,
yeah,
wave your flag? All right, okay. Mike, why do you love trains? Why are trains brilliant?
Why are trains brilliant? Yeah. Because they bring people together.
Also, just to mention that
the plan is we're going to see the train leave. It's just over there under the bridge, and it's heading that way down towards North Road and Darlington. It might be possible to jump in a taxi, and as this is only going at 10 miles an hour, to beat it so we can see it arrive at North Road. I think that's what I'm going to try and do.
A quick Google map check, and yes, we decided a hop in a taxi would definitely beat the train to Darlington.
So it's in the distance behind us down there. It's appeared through the train shed that's adjacent to North Road Station. I think now it might back up or just actually go into Hopetown, and I don't think it's actually going to pass through North Road. We're on the platform of North Road Station waiting to see if it comes down. At the moment it's it's not going anywhere. It's just, it's not moving. There's a whole bunch of people here that don't know what's going on. We're just waiting to find out.
What we did then discover is that Locomotion had reversed up and was inside the Hopetown Museum, a place that you should come and visit if you never have. It's full of trains and other wonderful stuff. And we were able to get up close to the train and find out more about it by talking to one of the drivers.
So at Hopetown Museum at Darlington, we've caught up with the actual train here, and I personally have caught up with one of the drivers, not the driver that was driving it this morning, but there's been a shift change, a crew change, and the driver that's driving it this afternoon and this evening. This is Paul to talk us through the train.
Locomotion number 1, built for Stockton Darlington Railway. Various little features on it. 2 cylinders mounted inside the boiler, come out the top. Motion on the top, it's a bit like a beam engine. So all the valve gears, if you're on the other side you'll see the valve gear. Boiler behind the woodwork there, firebox in there, tubes at the end, come down to the front. Little smoke box area in there, there's a drain for the smoke box. Bell, they had no whistles hadn't been invented when this was built, so that's why they had a bell. Parallel motion, so connecting rods down there that goes across into the valve gear. The start of everything else, start of the revolution. It's a great thing to do, it's a great honour to be involved with it.
Well, what was your job on the train this morning?
I'm there in case anything goes wrong. I designed the air brake system and all the electrical systems on the train.
Okay.
And my job is basically to travel with it today to make sure everything works properly.
What was it like being on the train this morning?
It was amazing how many people were actually around the whole site, and thousands waving at you. You're like,
have you got clips on your phone?
no, I was recording. I've been recording I was recording the GPS speed all the way so we knew what we were doing.
So what was your top speed, or what was the average speed?
Average speed was about 9 miles an hour.
Okay.
10, 11.
Okay.
And then Jen and I got word of a secret nighttime train rendezvous.
But what I found out, at midnight it's going to be in Darlington Station.
Yes.
They're going to park up an Azuma side by side for a midnight photo call. You've got to go and get that. Your mission, Jen, please go and get a shot of Locomotion number 1 with the Azuma. That would be amazing.
So I'm guessing at this point you're going to cut to a bit of voiceover, a bit of footage from me of that happening.
Yeah.
I absolutely want to do that.
I think you should.
Yes.
All right.
Jen, you are correct. This is the bit of the video where I dropped some voiceover and used the footage that you kindly shot. This is in the small hours of the next morning, where the replica Locomotion train was brought into Darlington Station for this photo call of it side by side with an Azuma train. Splendid stuff and looks amazing. Thank you very much, Jen. I then bumped into Tim Dunn and spoke to him, as I knew that he'd been on some of the preliminary test runs which had taken place in the evening when it was dark.
We ended up driving under moonlight. We took the engine off the Weardale Railway and onto the main line when the signal went green, and we all cheered. We were singing a little bit under moonlight. It was like Titfield Thunderbolt, it was like Fred the Fugitive, and we went up the hill for 4 miles. We drove this train. That was when I realised what this was. Okay. This machine sounds like nothing else on this earth. This machine sounds like a little living, breathing organism. It doesn't chuff at all. It wheezes, it pants. This thing genuinely does talk to you the way it works. It doesn't sound like a steam train. But as you went up that train, up that railway line, towards the tunnel and through the tunnel, that to me was like, that was 1825, because you couldn't see the houses, you could see little lit people, you could go past people's houses, and I could see people watching their televisions in the houses.
Which they didn't have in 1825.
No.
1825 was, of course, the year that the first train ran here, and the next morning I caught up with several enthusiasts who had gathered as a group and gone out to reenact and recreate that first ever journey.
So you're with all your friends. Could you just explain what you did this morning? Where did you all go?
This morning we woke up bright and early and headed to Shildon Station. There was a huge group of people there, all dressed in Victorian clothing.
Nice.
We wanted to just ever so slightly recreate the original journey, but we travelled between Shildon and Darlington. Now we're going to sort of head back, and we all caught it together. We've got these lovely tickets.
So you made these up?
We're called Team 200 for the day.
And are you giving these to me as well?
And a big. Can we
there's a giant ticket. There's a giant. That's pretty good.
A giant ticket.
There we go.
Pull that up.
And on to Saturday's main event, which was the recreation of this photo of the famous shot of the locomotion going across Skerne Bridge. Skerne Bridge is the oldest railway bridge in the world that is still in use. And on the 27th of September 1825, the crowd flocked here for the railway's opening ceremony to see the train pulling wagons containing coal and flour, as well as people. It paused at Darlington to take on water and make the first ever coal delivery, and workmen who had built the line and travelled on the train left here for a celebration dinner in town. You may also know this image because for a while the Bank of England printed £5 notes on them for 10 years between 1993 and 2003.
So we're by the car park by Skerne Bridge. We came here yesterday just to look at the plaque and just to read up on the history. Today it's been turned into a ticketed event. I don't know, maybe 1,000 people, maybe 2,000, and in a moment the Locomotion number 1 is going to go across the famous Skerne Bridge, and that's going to be a splendid shot to get. There's a lot of people here.
I hope you've got your cameras ready, because here she is, Locomotion number 1. We change the world from here. Hour or so if you're at the back of the car park, this is your chance to move around and get photos from different locations. If you're right at the front, it's your chance to move away and get them from somewhere else.
There was a fantastic atmosphere amongst railway lovers for the whole weekend. I then spent the afternoon in Hopetown, the other railway museum here in Darlington that you really must go and visit if you've never been. And the next day, the replica locomotion made it to Stockton. Thanks again, Jen, for this clip. All in all, it was simply a fabulous weekend. And if you want to see where this event fits into the timeline of railways going back hundreds of years, then there's also a link in this description to this, a breakdown of the complete timeline to the history of railways with all the key moments, including the Stockton and Darlington in 1825.
And my wrap up is at Darlington Station, just because it's so impressive to be here. But I just wanted to say, literally from the heart, is that there was a special video from a special moment a couple of months back at the greatest gathering in Derby, and these last few days again have been like that. We've turned up and there's been some familiar faces here, and I've chatted to people, and it's all the railway loving people, the railway loving enthusiasts have come out, and we've had a splendid day. And just in the car park by Skerne Bridge today, there was just this feeling, this vibe, this atmosphere that everyone was there because they all love trains and they all love railways, and it was great. So there we go, that is my 2 days at the Stockton and Darlington 200 years celebration. Thank you for watching. Links down in the description as mentioned. See you in the next video. Cheers, bye.